Wednesday, afternoon practice. The ball sailed cleanly past the goalkeeper's hands and slashed into the net. Best kick I've made all game. I jogged back to position, exchanging a few quick high fives. The evening news had filmed the exact moment it hit. I'd be famous for 30 seconds. Too bad it didn't count for rankings. Just a practice match. Half the UNLV rebels on one side, the other half on the other. Our first official game was in 2 weeks, and honestly, we weren't ready. We were at the Peter Johann Memorial Field on the UNLV campus, my home away from home for nearly 6 months of the year. UNLV's men's soccer team had been around since 1974. We'd made a few NCAA tournament runs over the years, but only one conference title to our name, and no national championships. Grass clippings stuck to my cleats, releasing that fresh green smell with every step. Ravi, my best friend, jogged up beside me and gave a nod. He was as sweat-soaked as I was. "Benjamin, nice shot. Hey, you and Jasper want to come over tonight? Dinner party. Connie's parents will be there, plus her sister and her husband. 10 people total." I'm Benjamin Strathmore, age 23, a senior at UNLV. I'm on their soccer team, the Rebels. Jasper was my partner, big shot at Marston Brokerage, 5 years older than me. He's completely out of my league, but somehow we hooked up, said he liked watching me kick the ball around. "What are we celebrating?" I asked. "Connie's birthday," Ravi said. "It's really Saturday, but we'll be out of town." "You and Connie taking some alone time?" He grinned. "You know it. Little bed and breakfast in San Diego. I can send you the info if you and Jasper need a weekend." "What can we bring?" The coach blew his whistle, waving for the team to join him by the bleachers. Ravi punched me in the shoulder. "Merlot is Connie's favorite. Say 5 bottles? We'll call it your present." "Done," I said. "Dinner's at 7. After practice, I shot Jasper a quick text. "Dinner with Ravi and Connie tonight. Birthday party." My love didn't respond. Coach had some parting words of wisdom for the team. When he was done, I sent a second text. Also, no response. Jasper should be home by now, and even if he stayed late at the office, my boyfriend always replied, even if only a simple thumbs up. Anxiety began to creep in. I pushed it away. On the way to our townhouse, I stopped by the store and picked up 6 bottles of Merlot. I texted Jasper that I was on my way, and to make sure he was ready. Still no response. I pulled up to our place a little after 6. A white BMW had parked in our drive, leaving no room for me. Was it an omen? I laughed it off and parked on the road. HOA would get annoyed if I left it there after dark. Leaving the wine in the car, I ran to the front door. We were going to be late. Still wearing my sweaty soccer gear, I barely had time for a shower and find something nice to wear. Jasper better be ready. I unlocked the door and ran inside. "Are you ready?" I yelled. "We're going to be late. I already bought the wine, so we can just leave as soon as I get a shower." Jasper wasn't alone. A woman sat on our sofa. A beautiful man sat next to her. She wore a dark blue tailored business suit. He had defined biceps and a chiseled jaw, flawless skin, perfect hair, and immaculately manicured nails. This man took personal grooming to the extreme, way past my obligatory smear of sunscreen on my face. The man was gorgeous in his tailored shirt and Italian sandals. I wore my grass-stained soccer shirt, and I stunk like I'd been working out all afternoon. I was dollar store macaroni to his lobster ravioli. Jasper stood near the gas fireplace, a glass of white wine in hand. My love looked up, acknowledging my presence with only a nod. My love inhaled, his eyebrows furrowed. Yep, I stunk. Even after living together for a year, I still shivered when he looked at me. That first night we'd been together, when he had told me he loved me, had changed me in all the right ways. Whatever conversation they were having had stopped. When I entered the room, no one moved. The woman stiffened, a hand going to her nose. Yep, I definitely stunk. "Did you get my texts?" I said. Jasper glanced at his shoes. "Why didn't you respond?" The woman stood, presenting her hand as if diplomacy would bridge whatever this was. "It was my fault, Benjamin. We had business matters to discuss." I momentarily took her hand, then glanced at Jasper. He stared at his wine. "Business? After 6? In our home?" She ignored my questions. "We need someone to be the face of LGBTQ for Maggie Rourke's gubernatorial campaign. Jasper is a thriving businessman, is known in the normal community, and presents the image we are looking for. We need that." "And you are?" I asked. "Eloise Duncan, campaign manager for Maggie Rourke. This is Harrison Beckham, who will act as Jasper's partner." Harrison Beckham, 6'2", brown hair with salon highlights, and clothes that looked straight off the rack of Dolce & Gabbana. He was the lean type of muscular that clothing can't hide, only accentuate. Pecs that filled out his shirt, biceps like softballs, and if he had 5% body fat anywhere on him, I'll eat my cleats. Jasper set his wineglass on the mantel. "Benjamin," he said, his voice soft yet stern as if he were leading one of his meetings, "I already said yes." My mind whirled, making connections I hadn't known before. Secret phone calls, odd meetings, even a weekend dinner date I wasn't invited to. "How long have you been talking about whatever this is?" "It's not what you think," Harrison said. God, his voice was so smooth, like olive oil dripping on silk. I bet he could sing, too. His perfect smile blazed to life, revealing flawless teeth. "It's just a job, nothing more." My mind immediately wondered how much does he spend on skincare products every month. I ignored Pretty Boy and looked at my partner. Waiting. The air held the faint cinnamon whiff of the cookies I had made at lunch. The old grandfather clock in the dining room slowly ticked. I had inherited it when my grandfolks downsized to a condo. Nice old thing. Dark wood, heavier than a fridge, and very reliable. It only needed the weights raised every morning to keep the mechanism going. Nothing fancy, just a small daily effort, and it never let you down. Jasper had the decency to run his fingers through his hair, his tell that he was uncomfortable. I had a feeling that telling me about his secret little life was what provoked his anxiety. Eloise first approached me 6 weeks ago. I slowly inhaled, letting the silence grow heavy. "I would have told you, but it was nothing at first, and then you were busy with practice," he said. "What's this for?" I asked. Chapter 2. Jasper exhaled slowly, like he was bracing himself for impact. "It's for the campaign," he said. "Senator Maggie Rourke is running for governor and needs broader appeal, especially with moderate voters. They want someone who represents stability, success, someone relatable to anyone under the rainbow, but also non-threatening to heterosexuals." I gave a short, humorless laugh. "Non-threatening?" Eloise stepped in smoothly. "Benjamin, please understand, this is about optics, messaging. Jasper is exactly the kind of figure who can help normalize." "Normalize what?" I cut her off. "Us or him? Or you?" No one answered. The silence told me more than anything else could. I didn't like where my thoughts were turning, so I vocalized them. I looked back at Jasper. "What does partner mean?" I asked, nodding toward Harrison. Jasper hesitated, just for a second, but it was enough. Eloise answered instead. Publicly, Jasper would be presented as being in a relationship with Harrison. They'd attend events together, be photographed, interviewed. I'm his partner. Why not me? When nobody answered, Eloise, her tone neutral, spoke. I'm sorry, but you don't fit the aesthetic we need for our target demographic. I stared at her, certain I'd misheard. So you're manufacturing a fake relationship because I'm ugly? Don't take this personally, she replied calmly. It's a strategic decision. Don't worry, I said. I'm taking this very personally. The room went silent again. Jasper looked to Eloise as if for help. Harrison kept his pretty little mouth shut. Good boy. I turned back to Jasper. 6 weeks, I said quietly. You've known about this for 6 weeks. I didn't commit until today, he said quickly. I wanted to think it through. When were you going to mention it to me? My voice rose despite my effort to keep it steady. That I'm not pretty enough to be in pictures with you. I was going to tell you, he insisted. Tonight, actually, before they came over. But you didn't. Another silence, thicker this time. The ticking of the grandfather clock grew louder, each second hitting harder than the last. Harrison shifted on the couch. Look, it's not what you think. This is just politics. It's temporary. We're talking a few months, maybe a year. A year, I snapped. You're asking him to pretend I don't exist for a year. You're letting your emotions get in the way again. Jasper stared at me, his way of telling me I'm being childish. I stayed silent as something cold flowed through me. Eloise clasped her hands together. We're offering Jasper a significant role in shaping the public conversation. There are financial incentives as well, of course, but more importantly, visibility, influence. This could open doors. I don't need doors, I said. I had a life. We had a life. I gestured vaguely around the room, the couch, the fireplace, the kitchen where the faint smell of cinnamon still lingered. Jasper stepped toward me, his voice softening as if he realized he had crossed a line. Benjamin, it doesn't change how I feel about you. I met his eyes, searching for something familiar in them, something that still belonged to me. It changes everything, I said. He flinched. You know I love you, he added, softer now. Once you cool down, you'll agree. This is important. The words landed, but they didn't settle the way they used to. They just fell. Then why does this feel like I'm the thing you're willing to give up? I asked. I'm not giving you up, he said. I'm asking you to understand. This is bigger than us. I shook my head. No, Jasper. That's exactly the problem. It shouldn't be. The room felt too small now, the air too tight. I backed up a step, then another. I need air, I said. I'm going to Connie's birthday party. Ben! Jasper reached out, but stopped short of touching me. Don't be like this. I glanced at Eloise and Harrison. Perfect, composed, already shifting into damage control mode. Then I looked at Jasper one last time. Nice to know where I stand, I said quietly. I turned and walked out the door. Jasper's voice, calm, almost casual, replied, but not to me. Give him time to think this through. Ben's always been emotional. The evening air hit me like cold water. I stood on the porch for a moment, trying to breathe, trying to think. Jasper's BMW sat in the driveway, untouched, polished, belonging. My car was still on the street, the box of wine sitting in the back seat. 6 bottles now, apparently. Dinner, Ravi, Connie, a normal night. I let out a shaky laugh. Then I pulled out my phone and scrolled to Ravi's name. My thumb hovered for a moment before I hit call. The line rang once. "Hey," Ravi answered, upbeat as ever. "Connie's parents just arrived. You guys on your way?" I swallowed. "Not exactly," I said. Something in my voice must have tipped him off, because his tone shifted instantly. "What's wrong?" I glanced back at the townhouse, the place that had felt like home an hour ago. "I think," I started, then stopped. The words didn't want to come. "Talk to me, man." "I honestly don't know what just happened," I said finally. "It's just me." There was a pause on the other end. "Then get over here," Ravi said gently. "We've got Connie's pasta bake, green bean casserole made with fresh green beans, her sister's bringing the cake, and our couch is pretty comfortable. You don't have to figure it out tonight. And you don't have to figure it out alone." I haven't changed or showered. Connie grabbed the phone. "Our shower works just fine. Get over here before I get cranky." I looked at my car, at the box of wine bottles, then back at the house one last time. Maybe Ravi was right. "Yeah," I said. "I'm on my way." I hung up, climbed into the driver's seat, and pulled away from the curve, leaving the driveway, the SUV, and the BMW, and everything waiting inside, behind me. For now. Chapter 3. I got back about 11. The townhouse should have felt like home, but cold darkness lived in the windows. The BMW was gone. The SUV was gone. That meant Jasper was gone. Part of me had hoped Jasper would have shown up at Ravi's. He didn't. Connie had sent a slice of birthday cake for my love, strawberry pink with pink glitter on the cream cheese frosting. Pink is her favorite color. Even had pink candles on the cake. The moon had risen, a slim crescent hanging high in the sky. A bright reddish star hovered next to it. The air smelled of a late-night barbecue. Except for a delivery truck with squealing brakes, the night was silent. I paused on the landing. What waited for me inside? Better question, what had the last year meant? Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe it sounded worse than it actually was. Inside was quiet. My grandfather clock still ticked. The ice maker rumbled as it released ice. The wine glass still rested on the mantel, a swallow of wine inside. I placed the cake in the fridge. It looked all happy and pretty and everything I wasn't feeling. I undressed, brushed my teeth, and went to bed. About 3 a.m, the front door opened. Jasper entered, speaking quietly. I assumed he was on the phone, until another man said, "Maybe I should apologize." How dare he bring Harrison back to our home? A moment later, the bedroom door opened. A sliver of light from the hallway peeked in. "Are you awake?" Jasper whispered. "Ben?" His cologne, the one he only wore when we were going out, heralded his betrayal. Under the covers, my fist clenched. My back stiffened so much it threatened a migraine. I pretended I was asleep. I wasn't going to have a conversation at 3 a.m, not when my emotions were a tangle of spaghetti, not when I felt like screaming. "He must be asleep," Harrison said lightly. "Maybe it's better if I come back tomorrow night." The door closed. A few minutes later, the front door opened and shut. Jasper finally came to bed, undressed, and slid under the blankets, careful not to disturb me. Gently, he leaned over, kissed my shoulder, and whispered, "I love you." I got up before my alarm and stared at my sleeping boyfriend. My soul ached for him, not only because I loved him, but because I was afraid of what he had done. Had my love cheated? Was he in love with another man? Ready for work, I opened the fridge and laughed. Sometime before Jasper came to bed, he had eaten the pink cake. His dishes were in the sink, a few pink sprinkles scattered beside them. That was supposed to be for both of us. I washed the plate and spoon, sending the sprinkles down the drain. The garbage can held a crumpled note. I shouldn't look. My hand hovered anyway, then reached in before I could stop it. M.J. Christensen Diamonds, final payment. And it was dated yesterday. My stomach dropped. Jasper had never given me jewelry. He barely wore any himself. Had he bought something? For Harrison? I didn't wake my love as I left. Chapter 4. The next week, Jasper and I played our roles. Some unwritten rule kept us from speaking more than, "Did you buy toilet paper?" I spent more time at practice. Turns out Jasper spent more time with Harrison. They had to practice for their performance. I told myself it was just an act. My heart broke anyway. Harrison came by, trying to explain it was just business. I simply said, "Fine," and didn't engage. One night, Jasper cornered me in the kitchen. "We could use the money. When this is over, we'll take a trip. Anywhere you want. I love you, not him. Where do you want to go?" I looked at my love. Older than me by 5 years. Completely out of my league. Owned the townhouse we lived in. Was a partner at Marston Brokerage. Made more money than I did, by a good decimal point or two. My feelings had gone cold by then. I simply said, "Do what you have to do." "I signed contracts, so I am obligated for the next year," he said. He tried to kiss me, but I backed away. "But I'm always thinking of you," he said. Chapter 5. The night before our first match, we played the Southern Utah Thunderbirds on our home field. I had pulled my uniform out of the dryer, packed my cleats and gear in the gym duffel, and even had a signed soccer ball for my 3 nephews, who were coming. I'd made dinner for both of us, eaten mine, and placed Jasper's in the fridge. While I waited for him to get home, I made M&M cookies, then tried not to eat the dough before I baked them. Jasper finally came home. But he wasn't alone. Harrison trailed him wearing a crisp white linen shirt and casual khakis. He wasn't wearing a necklace or bracelet. Of course he wasn't. Whatever Jasper had given him, the pretty boy wasn't stupid enough to wear it around me. They sat at the dining room table, barely acknowledging me. Harrison opened a large manila envelope and spread pictures about the table. Jasper opened a second envelope, spreading more pictures on the table. I leaned in to look and almost threw up. Jasper and Harrison were holding hands in the first photo. The second had them cuddling together, like lovers. But the third, Jasper was lightly kissing Harrison on the cheek. What did this have to do with politics? It was all staged. At least that was what I told myself. "I'm heading to bed," I finally said. "Remember, my first game is tomorrow." Jasper simply nodded, his eyes never leaving the photos. I went upstairs, went into the bathroom and locked the door. I turned the water on and stripped. According to the mirror, I didn't compare to Harrison. My hair was too straight. My skin had an uneven farmer's tan. I ran all day, so my body didn't flesh out and become muscular. Like the man sitting next to my love downstairs. The worst sin of all? I had hair growing around my navel. Shaving chafed. It hadn't mattered until now. Not until Mr. Perfect Body sat in my kitchen. No, I was plain hamburger. Harrison was filet mignon. Jasper had grown up in East Vegas, an area known for being less than wealthy. It took years and a master's of finance degree, but now he worked at Marston's, and we lived close to UNLV. He wasn't rich, but he made more than I did. My boyfriend knew how to make money. Not bad for a man who owned almost every single card from the Pokemon trading game. Our spare room was filled with hundreds of binders, holding over 18,000 cards, rares, ultra-rares, specialty prints. Complete sets going all the way back to 1999. Jasper wasn't even born then, but that didn't stop him from completing them. He used to play in local tournaments back in middle school and high school, but had to quit to get his master's. He doesn't play anymore, but he still collects them. I've met his folks, nice people. I suspect Jasper is ashamed of his past because we only visit them on holidays. I think Jasper prefers it that way. I didn't have money. Soccer doesn't leave me much time to get a job, and the Walmart I work at barely pays the bills. I don't have a fancy collection. I don't own property. And I only have a mom. Dad took off for parts unknown when I was 9. A tiny worm burrowed through my brain. Jasper could do better than me. What did I even offer compared to Mr. Smooth Body, perfect face, perfect everything? And the kiss in the photo? Jasper hadn't looked at me like that for a very long time. Was he ashamed of me too? Chapter 6. My brother, Dominic, his wife, Sarah, and their 3 children came to the game. The boys loved kicking the signed soccer ball around while Sarah rolled her eyes. I bet she was calculating how many windows they'd break. Connie was there, sitting with them while Ravi and I played. I played early game, but every chance I got, I looked to see if Jasper had arrived. Parking lot, empty. Bleachers, he wasn't there, even by the concession stand and restrooms. Anywhere he might show up, he never showed up. The disappointment was a dull ache in my heart. Just because he wasn't here didn't mean Jasper didn't care, right? When they rotated players, I asked Dominic if he'd heard anything. I'd left my phone with him. "Your phone's been quiet," he replied. I shot off a quick text. "Where are you?" By the time I headed back to the bench, I still hadn't heard anything. By the end of the game, we won, 3-2. A text had arrived. "Sorry, strategy meeting with Maggie Rourke and Harrison. Be home late." My love never made my game? It stung. Not only had he missed my game, he'd spent it with Harrison? Why him? Just because he's God's gift to magazine covers doesn't mean he can take my boyfriend. I hate that guy. My family, along with Ravi and Connie, went to eat at Lupita's Bar and Grill. Right after the waitress took our orders and brought out a basket of chips, Dominic leaned in. "You're giving off breakup vibes, little brother. Is there a problem with you and Jasper?" "I don't know," I said honestly. "He spends all his time with Harrison doing some campaign thing for Senator Maggie Rourke." Ravi jumped in. Don't take offense, Dost, but maybe he's trading up. You two aren't in the same social circles. None of us are." The odd thing about that comment, it didn't bother me. "I've already thought about that," I replied. Ravi took a chip, broke it in half, and dipped it into the salsa. "You should confront him," Connie said. "Yeah," Ravi added. "Las Vegas-style throwdown. My money's on you. With all that running you do, he couldn't get away." "It's not my style," I said, smiling. Dominic gave me that big brother look. "Better figure out your style before somebody else does." I got home close to 10. Jasper wasn't there. The grandfather clock ticked. I loaded the dishwasher and let it run. My soccer kit smelled like old socks. Into the washer it went. By 1, I went to bed. By 4, Jasper slipped in, easing into bed, smelling like the cologne he used to wear for me, careful not to wake me as he slid under the covers. I was already awake. "Are we okay?" I said. He didn't answer right away. For a moment, I thought he'd fallen asleep. Then finally, "Look, Ben, this is something I need to do." "You missed my game," I said. Another long pause. "Do we have to do this now? I'm tired." His breathing evened out. I folded my hands behind my head and stared at the shadows on the ceiling. Chapter 7. The relationship ended on a Thursday afternoon in the Student Union building. I had finished my morning classes and stopped at the subway station. The student cafeteria is like a food court, with many restaurants to choose from. I like Subway because I can just grab a sandwich and go. I stood in line, waiting my turn, scrolling through my phone. A notification chimed. Local news brief. I made the biggest mistake known to man. I tapped it. Senator Maggie Rourke, in her bid for governor, has promised to implement an LGBTQ outreach program. A picture showed her on a podium. Standing next to her were Jasper and Harrison, holding hands and smiling as if they were in love. The caption underneath read, Jasper and Enoch Sims. They were posing as a married couple? Wait, that's Harrison. Where did they get the name Enoch from? Harrison wasn't even using his real name. Something about the pictures in her promotional ad disturbed me. I zoomed in and lost my appetite. Jasper and Harrison, or Enoch as the ad called him, held hands, smiled in one still, laughed in another, kissed in a third. It wasn't a simple peck on the cheek like the picture on the coffee table, but a full, lip-to-lip, unmistakably intimate kiss. Jasper and Harrison, the man I love, and his new partner. My hands began to shake. My throat felt like someone had stuffed cotton inside it. I'd been dumped before, but never betrayed. Not like this. Jasper had said he loved me. We went to the top of the Strat to celebrate our 1-year anniversary. He bought me new cleats for my birthday. I ordered for him a Pikachu plush for his. Something burned in my eyes. My fist clenched. My jaw worked as if it wanted to scream. Jasper was kissing Harrison and didn't care who saw. What had the last year meant to him? Not as much as it meant to me. My phone chimed with a text from Jasper. I nearly threw it to the floor, but forced myself to breathe instead. Then I opened my contacts and nearly blocked him. Instead, I deleted the text and ignored the next 5 calls. Finally, he stopped. The sadness, the frustration hit. Not sharp, more like a dull weight. Disappointment. I wanted to yell, wanted revenge, wanted to make both Jasper and Harrison hurt as much as I did. But not here. I had practice that afternoon, but there was no way I was going. Dominic had asked me to pick a style. My face stayed calm, but anger churned in my chest. Jasper had picked the style for me. If he wanted Harrison that badly, he could have the pretty boy. I called my brother. Can I couch surf with you for a couple of days until I find a new place? What happened? Check the news, I replied. A 2-minute pause. I could hear Sarah in the background searching for the remote. My order was called, and I picked up the sandwich. Then Sarah's voice came through, faint but sharp. That looks like Jasper. And that guy he's kissing, is that Harrison? Probably, my brother said. Says his name is Enoch? Sarah said. Maybe he goes by his middle name, my brother answered. He's cute, my sister-in-law said, her voice filling with venom. I'll make spaghetti sauce just to dump it on him if he ever comes over. I almost smiled. Dominic came back on the line. Take us out to dinner and the couch is yours. I'll even clean off all the toys. The sandwich rotted on the passenger seat as I drove to the townhouse. I had 4 hours to move out before Jasper got off work. 5 boxes later, everything I owned was crammed into my car. Except for the grandfather clock. I'll need help with that. I called Dominic. He said we'd get it this weekend. Coach was going to be furious with me, but the way I felt, I didn't care if he kicked me off the team. After one last look around, the place didn't look that much different. I'd spent the last year of my life calling the townhouse home. I should be sad. Instead, I felt relieved. Jasper and Harrison can have this place. I'll find something better. I left the photos of us in Cancun on the wall. I left the Mexican elephant sculpture we'd bought in Baja California on the side table. I even left the digital picture frame and its collection of pictures. Memories would only depress me. My watch. Dad gave it to me when I graduated high school. I ran back to the bedroom, and I opened the top drawer. Empty. I checked Jasper's. Something small sat in the back corner, a dark blue box, tucked behind a stack of Jasper's cufflinks. My chest tightened. The label on it? M.J. Christensen, the jewelry store. My fingers trembled as I picked it up. For a second, I just stared at it, like if I didn't open it, it wouldn't be real. I wouldn't find the ring inside. I opened it anyway. Empty. Of course it was empty. He'd already given it to Harrison. A pain so sharp ripped through my heart that I collapsed on our bed. Why did I still love him? Why did I ache to walk away? Why did I already regret leaving? I shouldn't have rushed packing, but I'm glad I did. Shortly after 6, I was halfway to Dominic's place when a text from Jasper arrived. Another late night. Sorry. I placed my phone upside down. My brother let me store my boxes in his garage and hang some clothes in the boys' closet. 3 boys, under 8. 1 room. Chaos personified. Dinner was chicken and cheese enchiladas, minus the chicken for the kids. The house smelled of onions and red sauce flavored with a hint of lemon cleaner. My nephews loved stretchy cheese and sauce just this side of ketchup. I helped Dominic and Sarah clean up while the boys played video games. We talked about Jasper, about soccer, about the season, and finally, about the problems their car was having. Sarah asked me a simple question. Devil's advocate. What will you do when he claims you're overreacting? It's only a picture of a kiss, a very intimate kiss, but still only a kiss. I thought about that for only a second. How much kissing do you have to do before calling it a make-out session? We both know how photographers work. It might take hours to get the right shot. Sarah smirked. If Dominic did that to me, I'd slap him. The couch was relatively comfortable, a little bit scratchy. I kind of slept. The first text woke me at 3:37 in the morning. Where are you? I responded with, I'm safe. Why did you leave? I typed back 2 words, noon news, and then switched my phone to airplane mode. Chapter 9. I was out the door by 7, early class, then work, then practice. At 8, I flipped my phone to normal mode. 5 texts, 3 voicemails, all from Jasper. I hesitated, then closed my phone. Love, depression, and resentment clogged my throat. If I spoke with Jasper right now, I'd say things I would regret. At work, I stocked shelves, keeping to myself as much as possible. At practice, Coach made me run laps for missing yesterday. Dominic sent me a text. Hope you're not allergic. We just received a huge bouquet of roses. I bet you'll never guess who they are from. A photo came with the text. The dining room table with a 24 red rose arrangement in a clear cylindrical vase. I guess my hiding place wasn't a very genius move. I finally replied to one of Jasper's texts. We're done. Stay away. Go live with your new boyfriend. His response, don't be so emotional. It's only an act. I'm sorry you're hurt. I thought of several things I could say, but why bother? I've already said what was needed. Every day for the next week, a new bouquet waited for me at Dominic's place. Their house smelled of roses. Not just a faint whiff, but the kind of smell you get when you walk into a rose garden. I wanted to cry. I wanted to call Jasper, but every time I tried, the image of him planting his lips on Harrison's blotted out all reason. The betrayal hurt. Chapter 10. Friday, I had some peace. We had an away game at the University of Utah. Leaving Friday morning, we wouldn't return to Vegas until Saturday afternoon. Some people took the bus. I drove up with Ravi. The game was held at Ute Field, a smaller field on the Utah campus set aside for soccer and lacrosse games. Vegas to Salt Lake City is a 7-hour drive, assuming you stop for food and gas. The game began at 6. We found a motel, unpacked, and prepared for the game. We arrived early at the field. The stands were held by mostly University of Utah fans and some of our families who'd driven up. Connie couldn't make it. My brother and his family only showed up to the home games. I wasn't expecting anyone. I should have. The air smelled of newly mown lawn, just like the field back at UNLV. Mixed with it were the smells of pizza and beer. From the highest point of the bleachers, downtown Salt Lake City sparkled in the growing dusk. A couple of camera crews had arrived, adjusting their equipment. The game would make the late-night news. The lights came on around the field, bright, almost cheerful. Ravi pointed toward the bleachers. A man sat 20 feet away from the team, not too close, but not very far either. A bouquet of roses rested beside him. He held a sign, "Rebels Forever." I chuckled, and then recognized his wavering smile. My eyes misted. Jasper, the man I loved, the man who betrayed me with another. My heart quickened. My breath slowed. "Ravi, should I go over? What do I do?" Jasper's cheeks had sunken, and exhaustion painted dark circles beneath his eyes. He tried to look like the man I loved. Perfect hair, a crisp UNLV Rebel soccer jersey, but his eyes held a pain that broke me. A woman nearby noticed the way he stared at me and leaned in, asking him something. I didn't hear his reply, but I read his lips. He's the man I love. I could almost feel his arms around me, hear his voice whispering how sorry he was before his lips found mine. I wanted to run to him, right now, but I was afraid. "Dost, get your head back in the game." Ravi clapped me on the back. "Soccer now, we win the game. Drama later. Maybe you two have a little after-hours game time." Once the game started, everything moved fast. Minutes blurred into seconds. The roar of the crowd, the glare of the lights, the pounding of my own heartbeat. Everything narrowed to the field. Jasper, the roses, the ache in my chest. Gone. There was only the ball at my feet, the rush of the sprint, the burn in my lungs. And the next play. I chased, passed, fought for every inch like nothing else in the world mattered. Then the whistle blew. The scoreboard read 5-4. University of Utah won. But the real battle was about to begin. This one counted. High on adrenaline, I approached Jasper. His lips pressed together, face pale. He couldn't look at me as I ran up. "You betrayed me with another man," I said. "I know," he replied. "Why? And you better think very carefully, because the wrong answer means I walk away forever." Chapter 11. Jasper glanced away, his lip trembling. "I didn't mean for you to get hurt." "Then why?" I took a seat, not next to him, but 3 away. He swallowed. "I needed the money." I almost laughed. "For what? You make a ton." He didn't answer right away. His eyes dropped, like he was working up the courage to say something that would change everything. Without thinking, I moved closer and took the seat beside him. His voice was low when he finally spoke. "A ring? For you?" The noise on the field faded to nothing. The crowd around us silenced. It was only Jasper and me, our own small bubble where nothing else mattered. I took his hand, the first contact we'd had in more than a week. His fingers were cold. He shivered in spite of the heat, then stared up at the sky, blinking rapidly. The tears fell anyway. I walked into our home, and the grandfather clock had stopped ticking. His voice shook. "It never stopped, not while you were there." He took a shaky breath. "You were gone. It was quiet. Your stuff was gone. There was no damn ticking, like something had died. That's when I knew I'd pushed you away." He swallowed hard. "I couldn't sleep. When you didn't answer your phone, I collapsed on the floor." "It's okay," I whispered. "I couldn't move. I just lay there, crying." He glanced at me, breaking. When I finally got up, I just stared at the clock. "That damned silent thing. You're my life. Without you, I don't know what to do." I drew in a slow breath. Walk away or stay? I chose him. "I'm here, my love." I held him as he sobbed into my shoulder. "I've always loved you," he managed to say as he calmed down. "Harrison is the perfect man for you," I whispered. "He's got the looks, the body, the confidence. If anyone was made for you, it was him. I got so jealous when I saw the picture of the two of you kissing. He's everything you ever wanted." Beneath the tears, my love lightly snorted, "Only if you like guys with a very expensive skincare regime and habitually check in the mirror every 5 minutes. "How much does he spend?" Jasper smiled. I wiped his cheek dry with my thumb. "We spend less on mortgage. Besides, did you know he's bona fide, card-carrying, straight?" "But he kissed you." "Has a wife and kid. Her name is Rebecca. Baby Sam, just turned 16 months. "He kissed you on the mouth, in public, and it is broadcast everywhere." "They paid him. Now seriously, what can I do to make up for this? Let me make it right." I thought a moment, letting the man I love sweat a little. "2 things, I replied. "Name them, and they're done," he said. I nodded. "The first is that you quit this job. Tell Maggie Rourke what she can do with her campaign." Jasper's shoulders relaxed and the stress left his face. "I'll shoot an email as soon as I get home. Second?" I spent a second finding the video of Jasper kissing Harrison. Before playing it, I innocently and wide-eyed said, "Every time you see that video, you kiss me. Not just any kiss, but the kind that makes my toes curl." "Deal," he replied. "Then you'll forgive me?" I hit play on the video. "We'll see how many toes curl first." Saturday, I rode back with Jasper, and we stopped at the Black Bear Diner in St. George for a late lunch. I texted Dominic that I'd pick up my things tomorrow, and for the first time since I moved out, I returned to the townhouse. I was coming home. The door clicked shut behind us, sealing us into a quiet that felt different now, not empty, but waiting. I crossed to the grandfather clock and lifted the weights. Jasper watched in silence as the old mechanism clicked back to life. Then it began to tick, loud, steady, certain, like something inside us had started again. I turned, took his hand, and led him upstairs, to the bedroom we had once shared, and would continue to share. Let's just say the video had a loop function, and it played all night. The next morning, I woke to the smell of fresh batter and strawberries. Jasper stood in the kitchen, sleeves rolled, focused like he was solving one of his investment models. When he saw me, his face softened. "Good morning, love," he said. "Sit." I did. He placed a plate in front of me, golden waffles, maple syrup, sliced strawberries, and something else, right at the center. A ring. Gold, not flashy, but deep and warm, the kind that looked like it had been made with care instead of mass-produced. Jasper stepped back, then slowly lowered himself onto one knee. For a moment, he just looked at me. No cameras, no scripts, no campaign. Just him, just us. "There is no one else I want to share waffles with," he said quietly. "Will you, Benjamin Eric Strathmore, share them with me for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, for as long as we both shall live. My chest tightened, not from pain this time, from something deeper, stronger. Yes, I said. We served waffles at our wedding reception. And yes, they had strawberries. The end. Peace, my friends. Thank you for staying until the end, and thank you for listening. I appreciate it. I'm Gio, your author and narrator, and Bentley's with me. He's in charge of special effects. He was sleeping right now, so if you heard anything, it was him snoring. We'll see you next time. Peace, my friends. I love you all.